What's going on, guys? My name is Alex, and today I'm in the IMRSV Studios here in Berlin with the dope artist, the illest artist out right now, one of them, and his name is Andreas. So,
Nice to meet you.
so nice to be chatting with you today. I actually met him for the first time today. I found out about what he's been creating for the past couple of years. How long have
So
you
it's
been
it's
a
about
creator?
2.5 years with this thing we're actually talking about
Dope.
right now. Yeah,
2.5 years.
2.5 about. I mean, I've been doing art since a couple of more years, of course, but with this particular thing, it's about
Okay.
started out in December 2015.
Dope, dope. I'm excited to get into it with you, man. This is also being podcasted. That's why I'm holding this recorder right here.
And it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful, right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like it. It's interesting. And by the way, this is powered by Grover. And I don't know if you noticed, but we actually have some cool sketches happening behind us. This is actually created by Andreas. And
It was recorded earlier.
it was recorded earlier. This is not happening right at this
Yeah.
moment, but this was recorded earlier. And yeah, I think we should jump into it, man.
Do it.
So you've been a creator since you were young, or when did you get into art?
Yeah, I think my father's an artist, and so
What type of artist?
he's a painter and graphic artist, and
Okay.
so it just happens kind of naturally that you get into the whole thing.
Okay.
So I'm very thankful for him that he didn't want me to study art, so I studied architecture, which is a good combination of all kinds of cultural and scientific and historical and whatever else.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of math and science. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
that you can imagine and everything that is imagined by people
Okay.
is architecture in the
Yeah.
end. And so that was a good basis, foundation for everything else. So
Okay.
it's just, while studying this, all in the end, all of your potential that is within everybody is being unleashed
Right.
or could be. So it has the potential to bring out all of your potentials.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And you were studying architecture, or
I was studying until 2007.
okay?
Yeah. And now I'm
Yeah.
working for over 10 years.
Wow, as an architect.
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. And you work here in Germany.
Yeah.
What's it like being an architect?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, great work.
And that's
And it's still fun after 10 years.
very cool. Happy to hear that, man.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
it hasn't been one day that I wasn't happy to go to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you work full time,
Full time, yeah.
and you create on the side.
Mm-hmm.
What yeah, what kind of pulls you to be creative and still be creating? Because you have a full time job, and it's like you don't need to be creating. What kind of pulls you or inspires you to
Yeah,
keep
I mean,
creating?
the answer is that the pull comes from all that you're doing the whole day,
Okay.
and it doesn't stop actually since you like what you're doing, and that's what everyone is will tell you. You just can't stand a job like that, which is connected sometimes with a lot of time, a lot of effort,
Yeah.
and maybe in cases of suffering, what else? And you gotta like it, and
You gotta enjoy this, man.
you gotta
So-
enjoy this, and there won't be any quit at any time of the day, because when you think about some projects or some designs, you won't quit thinking about it. So
Okay.
it just goes on, and that's where the other process starts. So
Okay.
when you're in the middle of any other after work events, parties, whatever, the best ideas come to your mind,
I see.
and this can be sketched easily on my phone
Yeah.
what I'm actually doing, and that's how the thing evolved.
Yeah.
in a way.
Did your work as an architect overlap into you actually creating these sketches on your phone, or?
It's
How did that
actually
happen?
it's actually one of my most important tools nowadays, because it's so easy to communicate and to capture
Okay.
a moment, capture an idea, and everything else. So it's just on point.
Very
And
cool.
it's like a sketch, so the sketch will never die. So with all digitalization, with all modern media, whatever, you still have the pen. And if it's a digital pen or an analog pen, no matter what, but it'll remain. And that every design and every thought starts with some point, some line somewhere. So everything that you're using, that you're having, every clothes, every building, every lamp, any phone and any technical equipment, any watch, somehow starts with a line and with a point and with some sketch, however. First of all, of course, with a thought, and it comes to life with a sketch somehow.
Very interesting. So the pen is still mightier than the sword in 2018.
Probably.
Yeah. I can see all of your architecture, your mind, that side of your mind, just like how it relates to the different, just your whole thought process.
Yeah, because it is said, and I think it's true, that everything is actually architecture, because everything was everything that is surrounded by us was designed. So some of those people call themselves industrial designers or artists or interior designers or technicians or engineers or furniture designers, carpenters, what else? But in the end, it all belongs together. When you study this, you can do all of those things, and that's what's wonderful about that. So when you look at biographies, you'll find a lot of people in politics and show business that studied architecture, like Seal, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Netanyahu, who else? I don't know. So there's a decent amount of people who study that with other careers. But I'm not a friend of dividing categories, because
it's all interchangeable, and it's all relative.
Any creative process and any cultural process belongs together somehow, because the principles are similar and are almost the same.
See, wise words right here from a dope artist, man. Very wise words. Let's jump into what you create. How often are you creating these sketches? And just to give you guys a little insight into what he's creating, I'm sure you could explain better than me. But he goes into clubs in different events where you usually can't take photos. You guys probably heard of Berghain here in Berlin, and you're not supposed to take out your phone and take photos in the club.
So when all of these clubs opened, it was allowed, but when it's gotten more wild and more
people are just going and doing whatever they want.
Yeah, just letting go, and
you got to keep that private.
Getting outrageous, and
you got to be there to see it. You can't see it from on Instagram.
You got to be there to see it, and at some point they started forbidding taking photographs there, because it's just ran wild when everybody was posting everything, and selfies on the dance floor while anything else is happening in the background, which no one wants to be published in a way they're doing it, because nowadays, starting years ago, when everybody's posting everything about daily life, this is one of the few places remaining private, and I respect that, and so should everyone else, and that's actually what's interesting about it. So it's not about revealing secrets in a way, it's about capturing a mood which is otherwise not to be captured in a way. So actually I'm not the only one taking sketches in clubs, or I mean, it has actually a long history.
Really?
We're now having the 100 years anniversary of the golden 20s, and a lot of artists at that time began to sketch the nightlife, especially in Berlin as well. And recently there's been an interesting exhibition about that. But nowadays as well, there are there's another one doing watercolors in clubs, but actually that is not the media for a place like that, because you need different elements. Like you need paper, block, you need colors, you need water, you need a brush, what else, and you need light, and
there's usually
then you need another climate actually. So it's not the real place to actually draw in a traditional way.
Right.
And I once just was sitting there during one of those nights and seeing this spectacular monumental hall.
Okay.
And that when I just started to sketch it, because I wanted to.
And where was this?
That was in Halle am Berghain, so when they sometimes open the space for special events. This is just a huge event hall, so Berghain is divided into different parts, and normally this one is closed and just opens for special events, and this is just spectacular scenery. And I was sitting there after hours, and these are just inspiring moments, and then you just start.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And this became a series, and it's now going on.
Yeah.
And I had just overwhelming positive resonance over the years, because some guys, they posted in some groups and stuff, and then I got messages from people around the world like, hey man, I used to live in Berlin, but I had to move out some way, and seeing your artwork makes me so emotional again. And so I didn't expect that, but
dope.
It's pretty interesting, and it's a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about, to have fun. And it's not what I have to do, what I kind of feel in a force or whatever. It's just a natural flow.
Okay.
So that's why I call it actually digital impressionism, because it's the equivalent to the 19th century artists who were going out on plein air.
Now it's coming together.
With their plain canvas, and then just started drawing in the free nature. And nowadays my whole studio fits in my pocket.
In your pocket.
Yeah, and I'm just doing it whenever I want. And so there are always those moments during all of those nights when you wait on the bar for a drink. It's crowded, takes some minutes, or some track is not that interesting. You're waiting for people, looking for someone.
Right.
There's always moments.
You're waiting for the bathroom.
Yeah, whatever. So there's a lot of situations, and that's where inspiration comes. And so, like in the Impressionist era, you had decent angles, views from a same object, for instance, and just under other shades and moods of light.
Right.
And same thing is it in any of all of those event halls, clubs, or whatever you want to call it, during this fast lightning program. You can easily capture dozens of different moods during an hour, during
that was going to be my next question. How
Yeah.
long does it take you to create one of these?
So it's normally pretty fast sketch, like 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And that's part of the game, because otherwise sometimes I do the first sketch on site and finish it afterwards, but just a few of them when it's getting too detailed. But in the end, it's just a phone screen, so I'm not standing there with a huge tablet or what.
Right.
I did it once, but that's not what it's about. I mean, I want to still be free, and it has to be compact. And so you have a frame, a compact frame, and it all happens on that. So you can zoom in, zoom out, different tools. It's just a simple app that comes with the phone. It's free, and
what's the name of the app?
it's S-Note. So
note.
yeah,
F
it's just
and
a Samsung application.
Okay.
But of course there's a lot of other applications as well. But I just got used to it, and there's this remarkable marker tool with transparency, and so you can easily, or more or less easily, create different shades and depths and stuff like that.
Hold up. I still kind of want to do this freestyle with you. I feel like we should have like a little freestyle session.
Do whatever you want.
Cause yeah, I just met this guy earlier today for the first time, and yeah, it's super cool. You can actually freestyle a bit. So,
sure.
So I'm originally from New York,
Mm-hmm.
so I kind of grew up in that whole just realm of like lots of hip hop and like R&B, and just grew up in that scene. So it's always cool to see when other folks like from all the way in Germany can actually freestyle as well. So I think we should freestyle for maybe just 30 seconds, 45 seconds. We'll go back and forth, blah, blah, blah. But I also wanted to ask you about your exhibition that you just had a few weeks ago. Well, last week.
Yeah, that was just ending on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it ended 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you have your stuff printed in there, or did you?
It's printed, yeah. So
What type of material are you using to print?
these are all fine art prints on aluminum behind acrylic glass. So it's the highest form of presentation and highest quality.
Okay.
So it's specially tested on the university in Berlin. So when it comes to the lasting of colors and material, and so it's worth its price and very high quality.
Yeah, I'm printing photos as well, and I haven't printed on aluminum yet, but
it's not printed on aluminum. It's just a fine art print on paper, mounted on aluminum behind acrylic glass.
I see. Very cool.
Yeah. So
cool.
there's a special term, that diasec, which is not it, because it's a registered mark. But it's similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the vibe like, or what is the vibe like when people arrive at your exhibitions? Like,
very positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it mostly your friends coming, or is it like, do you meet fans there? Do you?
It's split.
Okay.
Like half of them are friends, and the other half are interested people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And
so it got spread somehow, and it spreads through the web, and it got good promotion, and it somehow filled, I wouldn't call it a gap, but maybe you have a better term for that. It kind of like came up with something that didn't exist in that form, especially, or I haven't seen it so far.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are honestly interested, and it's a lot of fun.
No, I think it's a really cool medium, just being able to do that, and I feel like it looks very in depth and specific what you're creating, and
Thanks.
it really reminds me of this Instagram marker tool, but when I'm using that marker, it looks nothing like what you're creating. I'm usually just scribbling out something, or just creating something
made for just swiping.
Yeah.
So you can use it with a pen or not, or it's just for simple marks, and it's meant to be even faster and quicker than sketches that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And before we wrap up, I definitely think we should jump into a little quick freestyle. I'm thinking the format for this can be I say maybe 2 or 3 lines, and then you say 2 or 3 lines, and whatever comes to mind. It can rhyme. It doesn't need to rhyme. It's better if it rhymes. But yeah,
he's from the hood. I'm not the hell of a chance with this guy here.
No, I actually haven't practiced in a while, so you might be on my level, maybe a little bit better than me. So
I think we have to cut it off later, but just give it a try.
All right. And guys, this is totally off of the dome, off of the head. This is creating something out of nothing, just whatever comes to mind. So I'm in the studio, immersive, with Andreas. We kicking it, about to drop it like it's hot on him.
Yeah, we're having some Kraftmalz beer in here with some glass of water as well as paper there to read with the arts and the Immersive Studios.
We in Immersive Studios. We about to get it, bro. You already know. You got your scribbles on the wall, though.
Yeah, it's digital out for real, bro. It's brought to you by the pen, by the technology. Oh.
Yo, it's powered by Grover. You know we go get it. Every time I did it, man, you know Andreas said it.
That's right, bro.
Nice one, man. Nice one. See, just kicking it off the dome, creating with what you have, and I feel like that's what's most inspiring about what you're doing. It's like you're using a tool that most of us have. Most of us have smartphones nowadays, and you're going into a place where usually people aren't being creative, aside from the dance floor. In my opinion, most people go to the club. It's dark in the club. You know, people aren't. If people are on their phone, they're just using it to communicate. They're not really creating.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of people are asking me during all of this debauchery going on, whatever. And now I have to ask you, what are you doing? What the fuck is that? And but they're interested,
right?
So they're mostly kind of like over some top, whatever, but they're still interested in what is this guy doing there.
Right.
So when I'm sitting in some corner or right in the middle of the dance floor, whatever, and it's happening very often, and you meet a lot of interesting people, though, and a lot of people just writing me on Instagram or on Facebook, because they're just interested or just want to say that they especially like it because it reminds them on all of these places that they experience for themselves.
Right. Two more questions. What's your favorite club in Berlin so far? What has been your...
Berghain, of course.
Berghain.
Yeah.
And have you got your best sketches from there, or?
Yeah, probably. They're probably some of the faves, but not all. There are good ones from Griesmühle as well.
Ooh, Griesmühle's cool. Man.
Yeah, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Berlin clubs. I mean, it's clubs everywhere. It's Output in New York. I just been to Badaboom in Paris, and that was magnifique as well.
Right.
And then I just recently been to Antwerpen in Belgium. That was a VAG club, which was pretty good. You find a lot of places, and it's just not about clubs. It's just some form with, as we talked earlier. It's just started out with the photography prohibition,
right?
And that was kind of like an initial point, because otherwise you can easily sketch with anything else.
Right.
Or with a large tablet, or just do whatever else. But that was just a combination of certain circumstances, which led to this.
I really love that. It's like a proposed limitation was actually the reason this is being created.
So I have the compact frame. I have the forbidden photography. I have the spectacular scenery.
Right.
And it all comes together, and it needs to be captured.
Right. And you have a brand new canvas whenever you need it.
Whenever you need it. Yeah.
And
it's just about the.
You have a magic eraser tool on there too, right?
Yeah, that's right. But I don't use it because it won't work out that well, because the last updated version has got just a normal eraser, as you know it from Photoshop. It's erasing
all of the layers.
And it's erasing the whole line, and it's not going very good. So actually, when you draw, whether it's analog or digital, you shouldn't erase.
Okay.
Because that's not professional.
Okay.
So always try to keep a vibrant line, and rather overdraw it than just delete it, whether it's digital or not. So it starts living by overlaying it.
Got it. Very interesting. And last question, what inspires you to continue doing this?
Everything. It's just the world surrounding me. It's the people, it's what they wear, how they behave, it's the music, it's the architecture, it's the combination of everything. It's the musicians, especially. It's the place, it's a corner, it's a detail, it can be
Right.
everything. So it's up to the moment, and you can always focus differently, and you can always have another point of view at any time of your life, at any time of the day. Just look underneath the table, you get another
You get
view,
more, yeah.
and I can just look what's behind your ear.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about. Just never stop being curious about things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Where can people find you online if they want to buy some of your stuff or just check out what you're working on? Where can they find
The
you?
online store of Studio 183 just recently launched some of my stuff. You can check some there, or just check out my Instagram account or my website.
Yeah. And can you say your Instagram account one time?
Yeah, that's at Hachulla, and that's just HACHULLA.
Dope, dope. And I'm sure it'll be linked up in the video as well. Immersive's going to make it happen. We are coming live from the IMRSV Studios in Berlin. And this was powered by Grover. And
Remember that, folks.
remember that. And yeah, if you, something that I wrote down a question that I really want to ask earlier. And I feel like it would be helpful for a lot of people. What, I guess just words from your experience. What would you tell a new upcoming artist, or someone that aspires to be a creative, whether that's a sketch maker or a photographer or a painter? What would you tell them?
You would just get the everyday answer from me. Do what you like and do what you're feeling comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about. It's about freedom. It's about fun, and it's about what you could call an inner force that has to come out somehow.
Yeah.
So it has to fill an existing gap in a way.
Got it.
So
Beautiful, man.
it can't be something that you have to force yourself to do.
Okay.
It has to come naturally.
Got it. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. Really appreciate chatting with you. My name is Alex.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
for tuning in, guys. Go check out Andreas' stuff. It's really freaking cool. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.